wondering, what do I do with it? How do I do this? How's it work? So, self-myofascial release is what we're going to go through today with our foam roller if you have one. If you don't have one, get one because it's great and it can help with injury prevention and also helping with any muscle imbalances that you have, aches and pains, all that good stuff. So we're going to start off with the upper body and then work our way down to the lower body. So one of my first and favorite ones, and you may have done this with me, most likely if you've worked with me, you've done this. We're going to lay on your side and we're going to get this right underneath the arm all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage. And we're going to start off and then extend that arm out and just get comfortable on it. It should be a little tender probably. And then we're just going to rock back and forward. See if you find any tender areas underneath along this muscle. So this musculature you can kind of grab underneath your arm that's attached to your back. That's your lap. And that's what we're trying to get released. So first start off there. Find where it might be a little tender. Mine is everywhere, a little sore. So from there, I'm just gonna roll it down a little bit and do the same thing, back and forward. Find a spot that hurts. Should be a little pain, no burning, stinging sensations. If you feel that, just move a little bit to a different spot because you might be pressing on a nerve and we don't wanna stay there. So find that muscle tenderness. That's an adhesion or a knot in the muscle. And the more we press on it, it'll send signals from your body to release that muscle. And if it's tight, that's what needs to happen. So go ahead and find where that's tender. Hold 30 to 60 seconds, sometimes more if you need it. It's all good. Long, deep breaths. Try to relax, especially if this arm is really tense. Watch. Oh, relax. That's better. Forward and back. It's like if you were going to have to take a nap on this, you want to try to relax into it. And this can give you a lot of shoulder problems. If we have tight lats, they're going to pull your shoulder and rotator cuff in different directions that we don't want them to. So the more we can get this guy released, the better. So go ahead and switch sides now. Come up nice and slow. Switch sides. Just gonna flip around. Same thing. Extend that arm down. Find the happy place. Not so happy. And then roll back and forth, side to side. Usually I recommend doing this before any kind of workout, especially if you're going to be using any of your upper body. So this would be a really good one to do before the upper body workout that I posted just now. This would be a great one to open up the shoulders and make sure that everything's moving properly before you go into those movements. Because if we're compensating during any of that kind of stuff, lateral raises, rows, chest presses, that can easily cause injury if we're not loosened up first and warmed up. So this is a good way to warm up those muscles beforehand. So front and back, find that tender spot. If there isn't any, just move that foam roller up or down accordingly. You really want it near to the ribs and then lean back so you feel it in the back. And working around the shoulder blade. And if it's too intense just to hold on it, just keep it moving then. Again, it's just going to still loosen up some of the fascia, the outer layer of the muscle. Go ahead and come on up. So on our upper back, we're going to bring the elbows together. Get your feet set, and then we're going to lift the hips off a little bit and roll from the top of the spine down to about the middle of your back. So never roll onto the low back. Keep it on the mid back to upper back, and really pull those elbows towards each other and then lean into one side, and then lean into the other side. And then hold somewhere right below the shoulder blades. Set the hips down and try to relax. You can really pull the chin into the chest, and this will help to mobilize the spine and warm up the mid-back. It's one of those that we don't realize is tight until you do this. Almost looks like a sit-up. Very good. So that one's just a little bit quicker. Then we're going to move down into the hip flexors. So next, we're going to work in the hip flexors and hips super tight on most of you, especially if you're doing a lot of walking. So we're going to come down into a plank position, and then we're going to get the foam roll right into the crease of the hip. Right into that crease of the hip, and lean all the way into one side. Might feel like pressure or tension, and just roll up and down from the crease of the hip down to about the mid-thigh. And again, if you feel one area that really needs it, hold it on there. And again, make sure we're all into one side, so I'm leaning all the way to the right on this one. So very little pressure in the opposite leg. All the way up into that hip crease, hip flexors. Set it down right below the hip bone. You can relax your leg down. And just take some long, deep breaths. This one can be intense too. You can always pause it just so that you can hold a little bit longer than me. Then we're going to shift into the other side. So I'll move my arms a little bit to the left and roll up and down the left side. Again, if you find a bad spot, hold on it. You'd be surprised, one side might feel a little bit different than the other. And these are especially important to do before any lower body exercises. It'll help prevent any low back injuries as well. So later today I'll have a glute workout posted with the bands. This is a really important one to do. So loosen up the hip flexors in the front of the hip so that we can get into full glute extension and flexion. Big squeeze. All right. Great job. We're going to move into the hips. Now this one's a little trickier. If you have any shoulder problems, just skip it and go back to the one we were just doing. If you can get a seated position on the roller, great. We're going to lean back into one arm. So I'm going to put my left arm back. That means our left ankle is going to go on top of the right knee. Left ankle on right knee. And then we're going to roll in deep in this glute. So we want to feel that foam roller settling in, especially if we really lean into that left side. So roll up and down, find any tender areas, and just hold there. Ouch. Especially being stuck at home, we're probably sitting a lot more than normal. So these are really important to do to prevent sciatic pain and back pain. And it just feels good to move. So go ahead and switch sides. We're going to put your right arm back now and the right ankle on top of the left knee. So ankle to knee and then lean into that right hip, all in the glute. Yeehaw. Find that spot that hurts. Long deep breaths. Again, if it starts to go burning or numb, then move just a little bit. Just shift into a different spot. up and down. A few more seconds here. Couple long deep breaths. Wonderful. Another one some of you don't think about that gets pretty tight is the calves. So you can roll your calves. Usually I'll put one on top of the other to give a little bit more pressure and then press in, especially if you've been doing any running outside. Go ahead and roll those calves. So that's another good one. Push into the shin and push that leg all the way from the Achilles up to the top of the calf behind the knee. And again, switch from one side, maybe the inside of the leg to the outside. See what feels best. Great. So last, but never least, this is probably the most painful one for people, so you can always skip this one. But if you can get into it, it's great. So we're going to go into what would look like a side plank on our arm. So then I'm going to get right into the side of the quad here, bring the other leg to the front, and I'm going to roll from the top of the hip down to the knee on the side of my leg. One side only. So we're getting right between the quad where the IT band is. We're not rolling your IT band, we're rolling the muscle around the IT band in front and in back. But it will feel like you're rolling something very, very tight. Take some long, deep breaths. You'll be surprised how much you'll use your upper body just doing these positions. You can bend the knee a little bit more on the bottom one that we're rolling. Or you can keep it really straight. It just changes it a little bit. It's a little less intense if you bend your knee usually, because that muscle isn't so lengthened. Great. So go ahead and switch sides. Again, get that leg straight or slightly bent, and then put the other one, the back leg, in front. It's going to help you stay balanced. And then I'll use both arms and roll up and down that side of the leg. Yowza. I hope you're all enjoying the workout videos. If you have any suggestions or there's anything you want to see more of, shoot me a message. The hardest thing is that they take forever to upload and to edit. So I have a lot of them done. It's just editing and uploading that's taking forever. So thank you for your patience. Gotta work with what we got. One more long deep breath here. Maybe move it a little bit, find a bad spot and hold it there. Wonderful. And that's all for this one. Thank you guys so much.